Welcome to Voice of Africa, your source for in-depth analysis and insights into the continent's most pressing issues. Today, we're diving into a story that has captured the attention of the international community: Burkina Faso's bold declaration about its future within key African and global institutions. This unprecedented move has sparked intense debate and reflection on the continent's post-colonial trajectory. Join me as we delve into the intricacies of Burkina Faso's stance on neocolonialism and its implications for regional stability and development. Burkina Faso's announcement to potentially withdraw from ECOWAS, the African Union, AU, and even the United Nations, UN, has sent shockwaves through diplomatic circles. The catalyst behind this bold assertion lies in their uncompromising stance against neocolonialism. Neocolonialism, a term denoting indirect control by former colonial powers over nominally independent states, has been a contentious issue since the country's independence. Recently, the United Nations dispatched Abdoulaye Marder as an envoy to Burkina Faso to explore avenues for collaboration amidst growing tensions with regional bodies like ECOWAS and the AU. This diplomatic mission was not merely ceremonial. It underscored Burkina Faso's insistence on breaking free from historical dependencies and forging a path toward self-determination. Prime Minister Dr. Apollinaire Joachim Kelm de Tamela has been at the forefront of Burkina Faso's diplomatic discourse, vehemently defending their sovereignty and denouncing external criticisms of their defense and security forces. His statements reflect a broader sentiment within Burkina Faso's leadership, that of reclaiming agency over their developmental trajectory free from external influences. During discussions with UN officials, Burkina Faso emphasized the need for development programs that align with their national priorities, including security initiatives, humanitarian efforts, and agricultural reforms. This strategic alignment seeks to empower Burkina Faso to address internal challenges independently while fostering sustainable growth and resilience. Historically, Burkina Faso draws inspiration from non-colonized nations like Thailand and Ethiopia, which have thrived without succumbing to external control. Prime Minister Kelm de Tamela highlighted these examples to underscore Burkina Faso's determination to chart its own course towards prosperity and stability. Critics argue that Burkina Faso's potential withdrawal from these international bodies could isolate the country and limit access to crucial resources and global networks. However, proponents view this move as a necessary step towards asserting African sovereignty and dismantling persistent neocolonial structures that hinder true independence and development. As we ponder Burkina Faso's bold stance, it raises fundamental questions about the role of international organizations in shaping African futures. Should African nations continue to engage with global bodies under current terms, or is there a need for a paradigm shift towards more equitable and inclusive partnerships? To fully understand the gravity of Burkina Faso's decision, it is essential to examine the historical context and motivations behind their stance. Since gaining independence from France in 1960, Burkina Faso has faced numerous challenges, including political instability, economic hardships, and external pressures. The legacy of colonialism has continued to influence the country's development trajectory, often resulting in dependency on foreign aid and intervention. Neocolonialism, as defined earlier, encompasses various forms of indirect control, including economic imperialism, globalization, cultural imperialism, and conditional aid. These mechanisms perpetuate a cycle of dependency, where developing nations remain reliant on former colonial powers and international institutions for resources and support. Burkina Faso's leadership recognizes this dynamic and is determined to break free from it. The decision to potentially withdraw from ECOWAS, the AU, and the UN is not merely a reactionary measure, but a strategic move to reclaim agency and redefine the nation's future. By distancing itself from these organizations, Burkina Faso aims to establish a more autonomous and self-reliant development model that prioritizes national interests and local solutions over external influences. Prime Minister Dr. Apollinaire Joachim Kelm de Tamela's remarks during the UN envoy's visit highlight the frustration and disillusionment with the current state of international relations. He criticized the UN for issuing statements that incriminate Burkina Faso's defense and security forces while failing to acknowledge the country's efforts to combat terrorism and protect its citizens. This double standard, according to the Prime Minister, reflects a neocolonial mindset that undermines Burkina Faso's sovereignty and self-determination. In response to these challenges, Burkina Faso is advocating for a new approach to international cooperation, one that is based on mutual respect, genuine partnership, and equitable development. The discussions with UN officials during Abdoulaye Marder's visit focused on aligning development programs with Burkina Faso's national priorities. This strategic alignment aims to empower the country to address its internal challenges independently while fostering sustainable growth and resilience. The three integrated programs identified during the discussions encompass security, humanitarian issues, and agricultural development. These programs are designed to address the root causes of instability and poverty, promote sustainable development, and enhance the country's resilience to external shocks. By focusing on these areas, Burkina Faso aims to build a foundation for long-term prosperity and stability. The security program, for instance, seeks to strengthen the capacity of Burkina Faso's defense and security forces to combat terrorism and protect the nation's territorial integrity. This initiative is crucial in light of the ongoing security threats in the Sahel region, where extremist groups continue to pose significant challenges. By enhancing security, Burkina Faso aims to create a conducive environment for development and ensure the safety and well-being of its citizens. The humanitarian program, on the other hand, focuses on addressing the immediate needs of vulnerable populations, including internally displaced persons and communities affected by conflict and violence. This program aims to provide essential services such as healthcare, education, and social protection to those in need, while also promoting social cohesion and resilience. The agricultural development program is another critical component of Burkina Faso's strategy. Agriculture is the backbone of the country's economy, providing livelihoods for the majority of the population. By investing in agricultural development, Burkina Faso aims to enhance food security, increase agricultural productivity, and promote sustainable rural development. This program includes initiatives to improve access to agricultural inputs, enhance value chains, and promote climate-smart agriculture practices. While these programs represent significant steps towards achieving self-reliance and sustainable development, Burkina Faso's leadership acknowledges the importance of continued engagement with international partners. The goal is not to completely sever ties with the international community, but to redefine the terms of engagement and ensure that partnerships are based on mutual respect and shared interests. The potential withdrawal from ECOWAS, the AU, and the UN is a wake-up call for these organizations to reassess their approaches and address the concerns raised by Burkina Faso and other African nations. It is an opportunity to foster more equitable and inclusive partnerships that prioritize the needs and aspirations of African countries. As we reflect on Burkina Faso's bold stance, it is essential to consider the broader implications for the Sahel region and the African continent as a whole. The challenges facing Burkina Faso are not unique. Many African nations grapple with similar issues related to neocolonialism, dependency, and underdevelopment. Burkina Faso's decision serves as a powerful reminder of the need for African nations to assert their sovereignty and take control of their destinies. Burkina Faso's stance also calls for a reevaluation of the international community's approach to development aid and cooperation. Since gaining independence, many African nations have relied on foreign aid to support their development efforts. However, the effectiveness of this aid has been questioned, with critics arguing that it often perpetuates dependency rather than fostering genuine development. Prime Minister Dr. Apollinaire Joachim Kelm de Tamela's remarks reflect a growing sentiment among African leaders that the current model of development aid is flawed. He pointed out that despite decades of aid, Burkina Faso and many other African countries have not made significant progress. This calls for a critical examination of the aid paradigm and the need for alternative approaches that prioritize local ownership and sustainable development. One of the key criticisms of traditional development aid is that it often comes with conditions that reflect the donor's interests rather than the recipient's needs. This conditionality can undermine the recipient country's sovereignty and limit its ability to pursue its development priorities. Burkina Faso's leadership is advocating for a more equitable approach to aid, one that respects the recipient country's autonomy and aligns with its development strategies. In recent years, there has been a growing emphasis on South-South cooperation as an alternative to traditional aid models. South-South cooperation involves collaboration among developing countries to share knowledge, resources, and expertise. This approach is seen as more equitable and effective because it is based on mutual benefit and solidarity rather than hierarchy and dependency. Burkina Faso's decision to potentially withdraw from ECOWAS, the AU, and the UN can be seen as a call to strengthen South-South cooperation and foster more inclusive partnerships. By working together, African nations can pool their resources and expertise to address common challenges and achieve shared goals. The international community also has a role to play in supporting this shift towards more equitable partnerships. Donor countries and international organizations need to listen to the concerns of African nations and adapt their approaches to development cooperation. This means moving away from a one-size-fits-all model and recognizing the diversity of contexts and needs within the continent. Ultimately, Burkina Faso's bold stance is a testament to the country's resilience and determination to chart its own path towards development. It is a reminder that true independence is not just about political sovereignty, but also about economic and social empowerment. By asserting their agency and challenging neocolonial structures, Burkina Faso and other African nations are paving the way for a more just and equitable global order. As we conclude this discussion, it is essential to reiterate the importance of dialogue and engagement. The challenges facing Burkina Faso and the Sahel region require collective action and cooperation. By fostering inclusive partnerships and promoting mutual respect, we can work towards a future where all nations can thrive and prosper. Join the conversation in the comment section below. Share your thoughts on Burkina Faso's decision and its implications for the Sahel region and beyond. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Voice of Africa for more insights into African geopolitics and international relations. Thank you for watching. This is Voice of Africa signing off. Together, let's explore the challenges and triumphs shaping Africa's journey towards a brighter future. Your engagement and support are crucial in our mission to amplify African voices and highlight the issues that matter most to our continent. Let us continue to stand together, advocate for change, and celebrate the resilience and strength of Africa.